Moms Against Masks is a group that was formed on Facebook on July 2nd. About 50 protesters, mostly mothers, expressed their reasons using one-word slogans against their children being required to wear masks to Utah schools this fall.
Mine is Tourette's. That is something that is genetic and runs in families. And if you have Tourette's, you have tics, you have muscular movements that are involuntary, and you have sensitivities, and wearing a mask is very constricting. People with Tourette's also have vocal tics, and wearing a mask really would agitate those tics and actually make them worse.
Members of the online group want their children to go back to school, but they don't believe that the governor has the right to require a statewide mandate to mask up.
Because when I heard that they were going to make my 12-year-old put on a mask after the research I have conducted, I said no. It will not happen.
Kids are going to play with their masks, okay? They're going to play with them. They're going to take them off because they can't breathe properly. Okay, I'm concerned for all children, but I'm very concerned about children with disabilities.
I do believe in a choice. Like, if you want to send your kid with a mask, awesome sauce, do it. You don't get to tell me. My daughter, we listened to doctors back then, and we vaccinated my daughter, and she was brain damaged with the vaccine.
So it isn't, as you said, that we have a problem with a mask if someone chooses to wear it. It's when someone believes that they control safety and that through that vessel, they can mandate something, robbing us of choice.
It's our duty to stand up for our children, to stand up what is right for them as parents and our choices for our children. It is not fair for anyone to come in and tell us that we do not have the freedom to choose.
We are not here to tell other parents what they should and should not do with their own child. In contrast, we are here advocating for each parent and each individual child.
The protest came just hours before the Washington County School Board met to talk about the upcoming school year, how it would be handled during the pandemic. A letter from the school superintendent explained how children may be required to wear masks on buses and during class time whenever they can't social distance.
We're still going to have challenges with enforcement when they come into the building. You know, we're going to do our best. We're not going to reject anyone. We're going to let people come. But if for some reason we do get a spread and we do have to shut school down, then that's a concern. I don't want to have to do that ever again.
I think it's fair to say that the younger the grade, the more leniency, the more understanding with the mask wearing is going to take place. We just know that. And the older the students get, the more they're able to comply, the more we're going to hold them.
We don't want to turn kids away from school. We believe, A, in-person schooling is better than non-in-person schooling. Homeschooling on the part of the parents, that's a different choice. Parental choice is important. Number two, if a child shows up not wearing a mask, we don't want to turn him away. Depending on the strictness of what the governor says, we may or may not have a choice with that.
The state mandate, which hasn't been officially issued on paper yet, may allow removal of masks throughout the day for recess, lunch, and even in classrooms when appropriate.
I know it's difficult for children to wear masks to stay apart from each other. That will always be a challenge, but we can do our best and make our efforts be guided by what we know about how this disease is spread. We know children can get and spread this disease.
In order for us to even consider going back safely to school, we're going to need to see a control of this pandemic here in Utah and declining case counts.
Nonetheless, many of these parents even signed a petition asking the governor to reconsider his mandate for masks. They may opt to homeschool their children to circumvent these masking efforts.
Then you look at homeschooling, or you keep pushing the issue because fundamentally we're taxed. We should control the system as the parents who are taxed.
In the meantime, the school board began to lay out its strategy going forward while awaiting the final directive.
Do I believe that the governor should just leave it alone? Absolutely. I think that's why we're elected. That's why the Constitution and the legislature made it so that local school boards could control their own things based on what their parents' desires are.
The death rate for children is 1 in 1.25 million. That's extraordinarily low to force a mandate upon small children that we could barely get their clothes and socks and shoes on them in the morning, let alone keep a mask on when they're supposed to be concentrating on education.
In Washington County, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.